Hello, hello, hello. How are you guys doing this evening? Well, it is 10 till 6 on Saturday evening. This whole week has felt off to me. Like, today feels like a Sunday. Yesterday felt like, I don't know, like a Monday or a Tuesday. This whole week has felt completely off to me. And I just can't seem to get it oriented. I think today seems like a Sunday because Alex and I got up today and we went to brunch at Cafe Patachou, which we usually do on Sundays, but we did that today instead. So having my little leftover coffee, French vanilla today from Cafe Patachou. We got up today. Both of us stayed up super late last night watching TV. He is watching the whole season of Riverdale. Apparently there's 22 episodes out or something like that. He told me he said he was like on the 9th episode or something. He started watching it yesterday afternoon. I thought he was watching Dynasty, but he was actually watching Riverdale. And when I got done vlogging, I like went inside and I was like eating some chips and stuff, and I sat there and I watched a little bit of it. I watched like the first season of Riverdale, and then I didn't watch it past that. I'm gonna bring you guys a little bit closer. And then I didn't watch it past the first season, and so I was like watching, I was like asking him these questions. And he was like, there's been like 5 seasons, Peter, since like you watched Riverdale. I was like, yeah, I know. I kept on asking him where Josie and the Pussycats were. He was like, they haven't been around since like the first season. I was like, oh, okay. But anyway, so he has been like binge watching Riverdale ever since then. He gets like in a TV show, like I've talked about this before. Do you guys remember like back in the day I used to say like I wish I could binge watch a TV show like my husband? Well, now I can. Like nobody's business. I binge watch shows left and right like that. But I always like start them late. Like I have a hard time binge watching a show like during the middle of the day. Like he can binge watch a show like at noon all the way to like, 9 o'clock at night. I have a hard time doing that. Like during the day, I feel like I need to like be cleaning or being productive or, making videos or doing something like that. So anyway, which is why I went to brunch today. Well, I came home from brunch and then I started making videos. So last night I watched the newest episode of 5 Days at Memorial, which was on Apple TV. I've talked about it on here. You guys, this show is so fantastic. It is so well done. It is so horrific to watch, though, because of just what those people went through in New Orleans during Hurricane Katrina. And even watching it like here on the news, like I really had no idea the full impact of really how horrific it was. And I mean, obviously I don't really know anybody that went through it, but I've watched documentaries on it and stuff like that. And this show seems to do a really good job of showing it from the medical perspective of like this hospital and trying to get the patients out of there. And last night was really, they're all of them really sad episodes, but like one of the things is that a lot of these people bring their pets to the hospital. Like the doctors have their pets there, and a lot of the patients bring their pets there because they have nowhere else to go. And so when they're evacuating the hospital, it's like they only have room on these boats and in helicopters for the patients, and for like the doctors and the nurses, they don't have room for the pets. And so that was like a huge, I mean, I was like literally like ugly crying, you guys, like watching this. It ended in a really, really weird way last night. So it is a show, I will say this, like if you're going to watch it, I think last night was the 6th episode and there's going to be 8 episodes total, maybe 8 or 10. It is a show that I wish that I could like binge watch all the way through, because having to wait a whole week for the next episode. In the other shows that I've watched like that recently, like Loot, or Severance I binge watched, but like Loot or Under the Banner of Heaven or The Staircase, shows that like an episode came out like once a week. Like it was enough of suspense, like a cliffhanger. But this show is like a show that like you want to know what's, you know what I mean? Like I don't know how to explain it more than that. So I watched that. And then I'm also watching La Brea, and the second season comes out September 22nd or September 27th. I can't remember. So I watched 2 or 3 episodes of that. I only have 2 episodes left. I have the 8th and 9th episodes. The 9th and 10th episodes. I either have 8, 9, and 10 or just 9 and 10 left. I think I have just 9 and 10 left because I kept on watching it last night. I think I watched 3 episodes last night. It's so cheesy, but I really like. I mean, it's cheesy, but it's well done at the same time. The storyline is like fantastic. Like the stuff that happens and where it goes, like I would never have guessed. And I mean, and I feel like, I don't know, people are probably watching this and like, really? You didn't have any idea? Like, I mean, like in this last episode that I watched, the 8th episode, which is like where a lot of stuff happens, like I kind of saw some of this, like when it started like happening and they started revealing stuff, then I started seeing it. Like I was like, oh, okay, this is where it's going. But really not until that episode did I have any clue that that's where it was going. It's just, it's well done. And it kind of like, as it goes, answers a lot of questions for you. So it's not like one of those, you know, like when you watch a show and it's like they don't address any of these things. What did I just watch? I just watched something. Now I can't remember what the last show that I watched was. It was a show that I was like, will there be a second season? Oh shit, what was it? Oh, now I can remember, but I can't remember the name of it. Echoes. Like, there were a lot of things that came up in that show, like, that they presented as major issues that I felt at the time was kind of conclusive, but, like, looking back on it, like, do you ever think about a show like Days After? Because I do. Because I do. That's how exciting my life is. But, there's a lot of things that they, like, brought up on the show that, like, they never answered the question to. That were, like, kind of big deal issues, you know? So, like, I don't want to explain it. Like, I don't want to say, because I don't want to ruin the show for you, but, like, this is where I wish I could have, like, a total spoil-free moment of, like, the show. Talking about the show. I'm trying to think of how early on in the show, like, the main part of the show is exposed. I don't really know how to say it. Here, I'm gonna like go like this, and then like if you're gonna watch Echoes, if you haven't watched it yet, you can silence the video, and then when I do it again, you can like unmute the video, okay? Are you ready? People are like, I'm gonna give you a couple minutes to do this, okay? So here, you can mute the video. I'm not gonna do it again until, okay, I'm giving you a couple seconds to like pause it or reach for your phone or whatever. Because I feel like I really need to say this about this Echoes show. So I am going to spoil something for you, okay? So the show is done. I'm going to only spoil like a little bit of it. But the show is about these twins, right? But they never, and I'm going to try to say this as much as I possibly can without like giving anything really away. They never really say like which twin like falls in love with which person, or which twin like marries that person, or which twin does this or does that. Like they never say that, right? Like they just say that like they switch back and forth, so you never know. Like and that's kind of really like what you're supposed to get, I think, from the show, is that like they've lost themselves in all of this, that they don't even know really who they are anymore and what's in a name kind of thing. But anyway, I just, like, at the end of it, I kind of was like, okay, so we don't even know that. Like, other than, like, this just one major event that has occurred, we don't know really, like, who has been this person or that person. So, okay. That's the only spoil part that I'm going to do. No more spoils to the show. But, anyway, so tonight I'll probably finish La Brea. Alex is thinking about maybe going out with his girlfriends tonight. He was like, do you care? I was like, no, not at all, because I just want to relax and watch some TV. And tomorrow we have something that we're doing all day together. And with like Sarah and Melissa and Aaron and Jason and Eric and a bunch of people, we're doing something tomorrow. So that'll be all day. I'll vlog after I should vlog after I get home with that, but I probably won't be making any other videos on any of my other channels. That will be back. I'll be back on my other channels on Monday. So as soon as I get home from this thing tomorrow, I'll probably vlog, and it'll probably maybe be a shorter vlog. I don't know. We'll see. I've got kind of a busy week this week. We've got marriage counseling. I have my individual counseling. I have my neurosurgery appointment. I may have to have a CAT scan this week. I have to call my neurologist on Monday to find out when he wants to see me, because usually like if I'm going to see him on a Thursday or a Friday, I get the CAT scan done on like a Monday or a Tuesday. So I have to call him on Monday and see when he is wanting me to get that done. You know, I know a lot of people are like really scared to get like, hey. I have to ask my neighbor across the street something. So I'll be right back. She's going inside now. She and I talked for like, I don't know, 15 or 20 minutes. We talked about all kinds of stuff. She was telling me, she said, I have a TV show for you to watch. And I said, okay, what? And she said, The Old Man. And so I said, well, I don't want to spoil it for you, because I didn't want to tell her about the last episode. But she was like, well, you can tell me. And I go, no, I don't want to tell you, because they're going to watch the last episode tonight. And she was telling me that they're making, she said, oven fried vegetables and then some kind of like crispy chicken or something. She's making this whole deal. They're going to watch the last episode of The Old Man tonight. That's what they're going to eat. And then she was like, we just watched Echoes. And I go, oh my God, I was just talking about that in my vlog. And she was like, I'm still so confused about what happened at the end. And I go, yeah, I am too. And I said, but I think that that's like the whole purpose of the show, is that you're supposed to be confused. And even they were confused. And she was like, yeah, I think that was the purpose of the show too. So we were talking about that, and we were talking about stuff in the neighborhood. So like, this is the big drama of the neighborhood. Are you ready? So do you remember yesterday or the day before when I was filming, I said that they were doing trees pruning and stuff? Okay. Well, so apparently the HOA landscaping person, the one that's not very nice to me, is in big trouble. Okay. Because she apparently goes through the neighborhood and she like tells them like where to prune trees and what trees need to come down if they're like trees that are dead and whatever, right? And then they hire this tree company, and then the tree company comes and they take the trees down or they prune them back or whatever, right? I don't really know how to explain it, but our neighborhood is like has a lot of mature trees, and it's a lot of different trees. So it's not like, we're not a cookie cutter. It's all the condos look very similar, but they're painted differently. Like, so these over here, like ours, like over here are like grayish and like a really light green. And then like this color, like ours is, you can see the color of our condo, right? But like, so ours are like this grayish color up like that. And then like this cream color. And so like all the, like 3 to 4 condos in a row are like that same color. The ones over there are more of like a Cape Cod. They're like blue and cream. But so like all of them together, and there's like a lot of stonework. Like our neighbors across the street, they have like big stonework on their sides. We have that like on the front of ours. Like we have like, it's like big stones like this. And so we have that like on the front of our condo over here. So it doesn't look cookie cutter because it's different, but the trees are all different. Like there's weeping willows in here, there's beech trees, there's all kinds of trees, right? And it's really beautiful neighborhood, and they're all like really mature trees. Like here, just let me show you like what I'm looking at right now. You can see it's just like all of these different trees, right? Okay. So the whole neighborhood is beautiful, and the landscaping is beautiful, all except for my walkway, which I was just talking to her about. And she was like, well, I'm going to come over here and I'm going to help you. And I said, no, you don't have to do that. And she's like, no, I love it. She's like, it's cathartic. She goes, for me, pulling weeds is like popping pimples. And she was like, so let me come over here and help you sometime this week. I said, well, if you want to, I would totally take you up on that. And then I can have the whole area done. And then Alex and I can buy the mulch, and then we can just lay the mulch, and then the walkway will be nice. So she was like, yeah, she was like, I'd love to help you with that. So she's going to come over here and we're going to do that one day this week. She goes, it'll only take you like a half an hour to do all of this. And I was like, yeah, I'm aware. So anyway, well, apparently this woman down the street, she had this tree that apparently like in the fall, I don't know which, I'm not really sure which tree it is. It's like on that side of the street on the lake. And it's this tree that like the foliage in the fall is just like absolutely beautiful. It's like all oranges and yellows. So if you don't live like in the Midwest or the East Coast, like if you've seen pictures of like Halloween and like the fall and like the Midwest, like that's what Indiana looks like. I mean, our foliage all turns like orange and yellow. It's beautiful, right? Very much like Stranger Things, kind of the TV show. So apparently this tree was like that, but there were like some dead limbs on it and things like that. And she was telling me, my neighbor was like she said, I walked by it the other day and I was like, yeah, there were some, what'd she call it, dead wood or something that needed to be treated and taken off. She was like, but the tree was still thriving, it was still doing well, and it was a big tree. Well, the people came home. Do you remember when I said the tree people were going by and they were pruning and cutting down the trees? Well, she came home and first of all, they had like cut down the tree, and apparently her husband is like sick and like in a wheelchair and stuff, and they have like it all built so they can get him inside, and it was like at night, and they had like thrown all of the stuff in the driveway. She couldn't even get into her own house, and because they hadn't like removed, like they had like taken the tree and like cut it down but like left it in case she wanted it for firewood or something. I don't even know, I'm like so confused by the whole story. But this woman is so upset that they cut down her tree, and apparently she was like out there the next day and she was like crying, and she was like, what happened to my tree? She was like, I loved that tree. And she was like, it wasn't dead. And so, apparently, like, the person that's in charge of landscaping is, like, in big trouble or something. So, I think this is her last year or something. We should go out with a bang, I guess. But, apparently she's not happy about this tree. I don't know what tree she's talking about. But like my neighbor across the street, he like was walking back over there, and he was talking to me earlier, and he said, did you hear about the tree? I was like, no. And then she said something about, she goes, oh my God, I have to tell you. And I go, about the tree? And she goes, how did you know? And I go, because several people like said something about it. And so several people being him, but then he told me that the other people across the street, that they were upset about it too, and that the other people next to them were upset about it too. He said something like that. So I'm like, the whole neighborhood is upset about this tree, this tree that should never have been removed. And I can understand that. Like, I can understand if you came home and like all of a sudden this tree that you have in your yard, that's like a big part of your yard is like gone. I can understand that versus, like they have a weeping willow tree behind their house that like looks out over the lake, and it like, you know, goes over the lake. I love weeping willows. And so when I was out there looking at her garden and back, and I was looking at her Three Seasons room, she was like, it makes me really sad because I like weeping willows. And she was like, but this one's dying. And I was like, or was it him that said that they like weeping willows, and she said she doesn't like them? I can't remember. But anyway, they were saying that the weeping willow was dying and it was going to have to be taken down at some point. And I like looked up, and you could tell that this tree was like not like doing well. It didn't like, I mean, I don't know trees, so it wasn't like I could look at it and be like, oh yeah, that tree is dying, it's dead. But we have like a beech tree over here, like on the other side of our neighbor's condo, that they keep on saying, because he acts like he knows a lot about trees, my neighbor across the street, and he's like, they're going to have to do something about that tree. It is humongous. And he's like, they're going to have to do something about that tree because that tree does not look like it's doing well. I don't know. This is the neighborhood talk of all the trees. She was saying what a beautiful evening it is outside. It is so pretty. The wind is lightly blowing. I'm like getting bitten by mosquito bites. Or I'm getting bitten by mosquitoes and I have mosquito bites on my ankles. I need to water the plants again. I hate saying this, but I'm kind of like at this point where I'm like really indifferent to keeping the plants going. I mean, it's September next week. I'll probably get mums in the middle of September, you know, end of September. And so I only have like a couple weeks to keep them going. They're not doing great. And when I water them, they don't do great. And when I don't water them, they don't do great. And so I'm kind of like, I don't really know what to do anymore. It's not like we're having days of like great heat, where it's like they're just so thirsty that you have to water them so much every day. Like I think like the previous years, I would water them like every single day, like just drench them and pour them in water, and they just were thriving. They just did so well. Do you guys remember in past years? You know, I would talk about it, and they just did so well. But this year, I think it's because, I mean, it's been like average temperature has been like 80, and they just are not doing great. And I was telling her, like, even the hostas are not doing great. Like, the hostas even kind of look like they've been eaten by, like, mosquitoes or something. So let me tell you my little friends that come to visit me while I'm sitting out here at night watching TV. Are you ready? Okay, let me put this, turn that a little bit. So, at first, have I told you guys about this? At first I noticed that I had, yeah, because I said something about like being like Harry Potter. So at first I had this bunny rabbit that came to visit me, okay? And he eats, or she eats like the high grass that's over here in my little walkway. That's how I justify not taking away the grass, because I want the bunny rabbit to have something to eat. But anyway, he just sits there for the longest time. He'll like look, he'll sit down here at the end of the walkway and he'll like look at me and stuff, and he'll just be like, just sits like completely still and looks at me. So then there was this black and white cat that started coming along here and would visit me like every other night, every third night or whatever. And it just would come back like once and twice, like that was it. Last night, a raccoon came along. Now, okay, raccoons can be dangerous and they can be scary. They can, like if they get in your house, they can tear apart your house. They can be mean to other animals, so, you know, carry rabies and things like that. So we don't want Boo Radley to get with any kind of raccoon whatsoever. And I was telling Alex that last night. I said, you got to watch him. You got to be real careful, because I don't want that raccoon getting on Boo Radley. Boo Radley got his little haircut. He's so cute. He's all shaved down and stuff. He's so sweet. So then, yesterday, I was sitting out here. I think this must have been after I vlogged yesterday. And there was this bird. And the bird was like this big. It was like a big bird. It looked like a dove, but gray. Does anybody know what that is, what that bird is? And it was like pecking at the ground, but the ground that it was pecking at was like the walkway, like the concrete sidewalk. I mean, there's no food on it, right? And I was like, what is this bird doing? It was like pecking at the ground, and I was like, what is this bird doing pecking at the ground where there's like no food or anything, right? And it kept on walking, so it got so close to me, and I mean, literally, it sat here for like 20 or 30 minutes and just kind of walked up and down the walkway, and then finally it walked off. I didn't ever see it fly off, and I was like, I wonder if there's something wrong with this bird, like it can't fly or something. And I didn't want to stand up, I didn't want to scare it, so I didn't. I just stayed in the chair. I don't know if it didn't see me here, I don't know what. I mean, it was looking, kept on pecking for food that wasn't there. And then I felt bad, and then I was going to go inside in the garage, and I was going to get some bird feed, and I was going to throw it down. But then I thought, if I do that, then it's going to be 9 million birds right along here. And so I didn't do that. I haven't really been feeding my birds. I've fed them a few times since the spring, but I haven't fed them at all, and I need to. You know what kills me? Let me just tell you. So I paid a lot of money for this Kickstarter thing, that birdie camera. Do you guys know what I'm talking about? So remember I talked about this. The last time I talked about it on here, somebody was like, oh my God, I thought you had already gotten that and you just hadn't talked about it or something. Nope, I haven't received it yet. And I'm starting to think it's a total scam. So and it was a Kickstarter, so I understand that. But I like paid like the highest level of the Kickstarter because it was like with it, you got like this free subscription for life of like this app and everything like that. And what it is it's this little birdhouse and it's like this big, right? And it's like inside the birdhouse, it's like a clear birdhouse. And inside the birdhouse is like where you put food, bird feed. And then there's a camera inside of it. And then there's like a little perch, okay? And each of these things you have to pay for extra, but since I paid like the top tier, I just get all this stuff included, okay? And also being top tier, I was supposed to be one of the first people to get this birdhouse. And so then there's like this, like a platform or whatever where like the bird stands and then the camera takes live video. And so you can get, because y'all know I loved the birds and stuff when I was feeding the birds and all that kind of stuff. So the camera takes like live footage and you can take like pictures of the birds. So like, it'd be like if the bird was sitting right here eating and like, you know, moving. Do you not love my imitations of a bird? So anyway, and you could like screenshot it like with your camera on this app, right? So if the bird was like moving like this, you could like screenshot. Okay, you get it? Or you could just take video and whatever. And it's called eBirdie or something like that. And I thought, this is such a cool concept, okay? Well, it was supposed to be released like a year and a half ago. True story, okay? And every month or every 2 months, they send out these updates, and I don't even understand the updates. I mean, I read them, and they're like, we're so excited, but we're still waiting for this and this and this, and we've sent out the first batch of 100 bird houses, and people are responding and saying that they love their bird houses, and I don't think I'm ever getting my birdhouse. I think it's the biggest scam in the entire world. And speaking of which, I think I'm going to email them tonight, and I'm going to be like, am I ever getting my birdhouse? Like, what's the deal? Like, you send out these updates telling us that it's like they always say like they're trying to get certain parts, or this plastic doesn't work, or they're trying to refine this or refine that. And like I said, I understand that it's a Kickstarter, okay? And I'm like, this is why I don't. Like, so many people reach out to me and they're like, you have a YouTube channel, will you promote my Kickstarter? No, I won't, because this is the thing, okay? It's never going to come to fruition. There has been very few of these Kickstarter things. There's been a few movies that I've seen that have come to fruition. There's been a few products that I think have done well. There was like some watch that they reached out to me, and I really liked the watch. I think it was called like Movement or something. And they did come out with the watch, and they've done very, very well. But other than that, like a lot of these Kickstarter programs, they just like, there's no follow through, right? And now I'm like, why are you continuing to send out these updates? I mean, you should just put out an update and say, we're not ever going to, like, put out the birdhouses. Because, I mean, it has been now, like, do you guys remember? This was when I first got my squirrel table that I bought this thing. So, I mean, that had to have been over 2 years ago at this point. Anyway, every time I talk about it, there's at least one person that's like, oh my God, I remember you ordering that. I thought for sure you would have had that by now. I did too. And now I don't know if I'm ever going to get it. I think I actually did try to reach out to them before, and there was like not a place on the website or something to contact them, or I can't remember. It was like I tried to reach out and ask about, and it was like I don't remember, or maybe I did reach out to them and they never responded or something like that. I can't remember. But I do remember that when I paid to buy it, like it said, you will be part of the first group that will be launched in like November of 2020 or November of 2021 or something like that. Like, you will receive it like this first group. Now, I can understand there being like 2 months late or 4 months late or maybe even 6 months late, but like a year late, like, and not any, like, and just acting like in your updates, like, oh, big deal, blah, 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 we're sorry, you know, whatever, we're so excited about it. Yeah, I've been excited about it for 2 years. I just want to take video of my birds, you know what I'm saying? Anyway. If that's the worst thing that happens to me in my life today, I guess I have a pretty good life, right? Drinking this like lukewarm coffee out here while I'm vlogging it's hot. I'm hot. While I was talking to her, I had heard Alex come down. He was talking on speakerphone to somebody, but I heard him come down, and he was like getting stuff in the kitchen. He usually starts, like if we go to brunch on Sundays, he usually starts getting hungry about 4 or 5, so he's probably getting hungry about right now. I just saw somebody ride down the street on their bike, but it looked like they had their like a tennis racket on their back, and I thought they were going to come down this way, but the tennis courts are down that way, so they must have just kept on going. I wonder who they're going to play tennis with. Ooh. Saturday nights is pickleball. I wonder why he's not going to pickleball tonight. I was talking to him earlier. He didn't say anything about pickleball. Maybe they canceled it tonight. My cousin Caroline, she started taking pickleball lessons. Well, listen, you guys, I'm going to get off here now. This, oh, no, it's not going to stop. I was going to say it's going to stop in a minute, but it's going to be at 20 minutes in a minute, not 30 minutes. But I'm going to get off here now so that I can get this uploaded, and I'm going to go and maybe watch a show or two. I've still got to finish uploading my drama video and my Peterisms video, and then the vlog. I got to get it rendered and uploaded. Why do I hear a car coming that sounds like... Do you hear that? It sounds like my neighbor's car to the right. I hear a garage door going up. Oh, it's my neighbor across the street. She just got back from the movie. She and her girlfriends went and saw Elvis. That's what her husband told me. Anyway, I hope you guys are having a magically amazing Saturday. If nobody else has told you this today, I love you. Remember these 3 very important things. 1, you can start your day over whenever you want. 2, practice random acts of kindness, but shh, don't tell anyone. And 3, most important, reach out to someone and let them know how much they mean to you. And thank you guys so much for hanging out on the front. Thank you so much for hanging out on the front porch with me. Be kind to one another, love each other a little bit more each and every day, and most importantly, love yourself and be kind to yourself a little bit more each and every day. And I love you guys so much. Thanks for watching. Thanks for hanging out with me today. It was fun, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye. Love you. Oh, and for those that need to hear it, and those that want to hear it, and those that just happen to stick around, one more, I love you. I love you guys. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye. Love you. Happy birthday, Lena.